Calloway was that?
You all may be seated. All right, we are here on the matter of Abigail Guider. We have been here several different times. We are here on three separate petitions. Petition number 22962, which was the father, Mr. Guider's original petition to modify custody that was filed back in October the 17th of 2016. We've actually had some trial hearing as to the trial in that matter, and we've had some other miscellaneous motions in between as well, but we did have, began the trial on all of these matters actually on May the 10th of 2017, and then came back in October the 18th as well as October the 25th. And we since then have had the other motions for visitation, motions to quash subpoenas, motions for other things that were motion to withdraw, motion to dismiss garden item, other things that we've been back to court on during the pendency of this matter. We also have petition number 223886, which was Ms. Hubbell's Ms. Hubbell's petition to change custody in a parentage case that was filed November the 16th of 2016. There was a motion to consolidate those matters that was granted a while ago. So both of those cases have been in front of this court for several hearing dates. And then we also have a newer petition, which is petition number AC 233782. That was actually the order protection restraining order that was originally filed in circuit court that was transferred from circuit court to be heard here. That transfer order was done on September the 29th of 2017. They transferred it from circuit court because of the history that this court has had with the parties and everything else. When we began this trial, both Mr. Guider and Ms. Hubbell had different attorneys, and we've come back several times, and now we have new set of attorneys. I think the garden item's the only one that's been with us from the beginning, and that's where we are. We have with us today Ms. Mack, who is the garden item for the child. We have Ms. Cheatham, who is the attorney for the mother, Ms. Hubbell. We have Mr. Frakes, who's the attorney for the father, Mr. Guider. We also have Mr. Cheatham, who is Ms. Cheatham's assistant and son. And then we also have in the courtroom
Barbara Frazier.
Barbara Frazier.
Principal of Gower Elementary.
Thank you. All right, are there any preliminary issues that need to be addressed before we resume this trial?
I have a witness who is going to be very brief, and she's been ready and available to testify on, I think this will be the third occasion, back when Ms. Regularly believed it was that we were trying the custody petition. She was ready, she was available last time, and then this time, and her hospital shift, she's in California, it started at what would be 7:30 there, which is 25 minutes ago, and she's just waiting, and I just wanted to see if I could briefly take her up out of order.
Father hasn't closed his proof, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
Father hasn't closed his proof.
And that's why it would be out of order and with the court's
Do you
permission.
have an objection?
We do object to that, Your Honor. I'd like to get Ms. Frazier out here as soon as possible.
Okay. Ms. Mack?
I don't even know who the witness is.
Ms. Mack, do you have?
It's Carrie Loy is the witness, and it was Dilara's therapist at Centerstone is the person, and her records are in the record.
Do you have an objection?
No,
Let me, and I understand that she's waiting. If you might want to just call her and tell her we'll have to do another time. I do appreciate Ms. Frazier being here, and she's part of the father's proof, and they are still in their case, and I would prefer her to be back in school as well. So, if you can call Ms.
Could I have her after the principal?
We can discuss it after that, and I'll see if there's still an objection. All right. Any other preliminary issues?
Sorry, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Fresh, you got your first witness then, or your next witness? And how do you do that?
Were we completed with Ms.?
I don't think we were completed with Ms. Hubble, but
Mhm.
I don't, if all was left for Ms. Hubble was me, Your Honor, we can just move on.
I would think I was in my cross with her. I think that's what the recording reflects.
Because the last thing that we went over the last time, Your Honor, you had to pause for the order because there was that snapping of the photo thing that happened in the courtroom and kind of shifted the atmosphere in the courtroom, and so,
The last I had was crossed by
Mhm.
Ms. Cheatham.
Mhm.
So- And you're saying you still had further questions, Ms. Cheatham?
I was during my cross.
All right. Ms. Frazier, if I can have you step out into the hallway, it's going to be a few more minutes before we get to you. Maybe probably like an hour before we get to you. All right. Miss Carter, you come on over here. Let me get all those who are going. Did they already stand up? Okay. All those who are going to testify, please stand and raise your right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, there we go.
I do.
I do this.
All right. Come on back over, Miss Guider. Ms. Guider has been on the stand for quite a lengthy time.
Hubble.
I'm sorry, Ms. Hubble has been, I apologize, Ms. Hubble has been on the stand for quite a lengthy time. I know it's been a while since we've had this proceeding. I would please ask that all parties just know that we record all these proceedings. I take good notes. Please try your best not to repeat stuff that we've already been over, so that we can at least try and get this done by today.
Ms. Hubble, just want to go over, let's go ahead and fast forward to what's going on now with you and your daughter. Tell me where things are and what has developed since the last time.
Well, since the last time I was here, I've had several hours of supervised visits with Dilara Ballard. And me and my daughter and I, we've been, even though supervised visits kind of puts a cloud and a damper on our interactions, we've had very, very positive interactions, and it's been very good, and it's obvious that she wants to spend more time with me, and she's being patient, and that's pretty much it. Our visit's been going very well.
How did it start out when you first started having your visits, and where is it now?
What do you mean?
Did you all have, did it start out awkward?
No.
Okay.
No, the first time I saw her, we were in a side room, in a study room at Green Hills Library, and I saw her go up the hall, and she was just like so excited, and she's like, I knew she's like, where's my mom? And then she saw me, and she just ran up to me and just hugged. I have never seen her in my life, even when we went a whole year without, I have never seen her so glad to see me, and she just hugged me, and we just, our bond had not been diminished in any way. It wasn't awkward at all. It was just like we just said goodbye the day before.
And I'm just going to reserve my ability to call Ms. Hubble in
Okay.
my direct proof.
That'll be fine. All right, Ms. Smack.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr.
No redirect.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hubble. You may have a seat. Your next witness.
Barbara Frazier, principal of Gower Elementary, Your Honor.
I don't know that she's on the list, is she? On the,
I think she
I
is.
believe she's on this.
There were some Gower people here on the previous list that we had a whole room full of.
the certificate of readiness, was she, were we notified that she was part of that?
I remember we had the full hearing, and I believe at the end of the hearing, I did say, I don't remember if that was the same principal or not.
Well, Your Honor, respectfully, we had Elizabeth Getz
Yep, that's
that testified, Your Honor, in
Was she the
May.
principal?
She's the assistant principal. This
Gotcha.
is the actual principal that is here. And originally, the CORs that were filed prior to that time. So again,
And here's my concern, Your Honor, it's not really so much this witness, it's that there's just this tsunami of witnesses that are new, and it's kind of like the longer we keep this going.
I know, so we keep talking about this stuff, we're
Right.
never gonna get finished.
Third
Well, what I'm
witness that
saying
called on behalf of the
is
father.
if we develop 6 and 8 and 9 more new witnesses, there's like an intent
So
to
I'm gonna
never finish.
allow this witness to testify. I think that there was plenty of notice that individuals from the school were gonna testify, and this was before you again, Ms. Jeter.
I understand
Which
that,
I
and I've
understand it's
read-
difficult to do. We had a long hearing about individuals from the school that would be allowed to testify, and we did not need to be testifying. And I'm sure that the principal and the counselor were one of the ones that I did say. I don't know if it's the same principal as was then that it is now, but I'm going to allow them to testify.
We just, like I said, after this, we'd like it to be the people that we have notice of per the certificate.
I don't think there's any question. There was notice that people from Gower were coming to testify, so.
Well, you know, and we gave notice 5 months ago to call an expert, so.
I went quicker than I thought.
Hey!
Before you sit, let me get you to raise your right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Would you say your name, please?
Barbara Frazier.
Ms. Frazier, what is your employment?
I am the principal of Gower Elementary, Metro Schools.
And through your work, you had the opportunity to come into contact and know Dilara Kadir.
Absolutely.
How long have you known Dilara?
She's been at Gower since the second grade, and first grade, 2.5 years.
And she's currently in third?
Third grade. Mhm.
Since you've had the opportunity to know Dilara since you started school at Gower, have there been disciplinary issues?
Yes.
Have you discussed those disciplinary issues with the father?
Yes.
Have you discussed them with the mother to any extent?
Some, not as much as with the father, but yes.
Have you previously had discussions with the mother wherein she asked you to?
Object to the leading.
I'll sustain that.
Has the mother made any indication as to whether she wanted the child to continue to go to Gower?
Object to the leading and relevance, what the mother wants.
I don't think that's leading, and let me ask about the relevance. I'll deny the leading.
Towards her request to homeschool the child, Your Honor.
All right, I'll overrule the objection. You can go ahead and answer that.
Mother has stated in previous years that homeschooling was her preference, and at one time she did mention that Dolores should be suspended from school because of her actions, her behavior.
For any specific period of time?
No, she did not indicate any days. She said she should be removed from school so she wouldn't harm anyone else.
Have you had any interaction with the mother on your school property wherein she was interfering with the curriculum or the child's concentration in school?
Not interfering with curriculum. I would say some of her previous behavior in the beginning of the year was not conducive to a positive learning environment for the school.
Beginning of the calendar year or the academic year?
Academic year in August.
2017-18?
Yes.
Well, how many times, to your knowledge, has the mother appeared at the school during the academic 2017-18 year?
Your Honor, again, this has been covered and recovered and rehashed, and it was also completely
I think-
adjudicated in the circuit court. And so there's nothing left to cover. It's a restraining order for Mr. Goodere, and they denied the order of protection for Ms. Hubble, and it's been 6 months ago, 6 months ago, and my understanding is nothing's happened since. So I just don't know how many times we need to beat
Your
this
Honor, this is
horse.
going towards the effect that the mother's actions have on the child and her discipline, her behavior.
All right, I'll overrule. You can answer that, I apologize.
So I would say, and state the question again.
How many times in the 2017-18 academic year, to the best of your knowledge, has the mother appeared at Calloway Elementary?
To the best of my knowledge, maybe 5, and that was last fall, this past fall.
Did she appear with signs to protest?
Object to the leading.
I'll sustain that one. I'll sustain that one.
She,
You gonna answer, he's gotta rephrase that
Okay.
question.
Did she appear at school with any signs?
Object to the leading.
I'll sustain.
Why did she appear the first time?
she was protesting the fact that she was not being allowed to see Dilara, and she came with signs, bracelets, welcome, I guess in protest of the current situation of her relationship with her daughter.
Where was she holding this protest?
In front of the school. And the first day, she was in front of the driveway that was a danger, so we asked her to move, and she did. And she went across the street, and so she walked up and down the street holding signs that was a little disruptive for the other students and the parents. So we tried to convince her to stop.
Was it the first day for all students?
Yes,
Was Dilara present at school that day?
yes,
Did you speak to the mother?
yes.
Do you have any knowledge if Dilara saw the mother?
Not concrete knowledge. I did see.
Objection then, and it would need to be your own knowledge. what
I'm
somebody
not sure what
told
she's
her.
gonna say. Whatever you observe, you can tell me what you observed.
I observed Dilara looking out the bus window when we were trying to convince the mother to leave.
Within view of the mother?
Yes.
When was the next time that the mother appeared at Calloway Elementary during the 2017-18 academic year?
There were several occasions that she showed up outside on the other side of the street that we had to have a conversation.
What was she doing during those occasions?
Same thing, holding the signs, screaming, free Dilara.
Have you had any incidents where she put items on the school property?
We were able to collect several rocks and bracelets that were on our pre-K and kindergarten playground.
Has Dilara's behavior changed any during the time these events were occurring?
Dilara's behavior has been a roller coaster, I would say, since she's been at Gower.
Could you explain what you mean by a roller coaster?
On those occasions when she is deeming she misses her mother, she acts out and beginning to thinking that she would be suspended and she need to be suspended and sent home. And so we've gone through those often, but not since the beginning of this semester.
So when did this semester begin, about December?
January, in January.
How has Dilara's behavior been since January?
We have less frequent meltdowns, outbursts, and inappropriate behavior.
Does the father remain in consistent contact with you regarding the child's behavior?
Yes.
Have you provided him any feedback regarding the child's behavior?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
All right. Ms. Cheatham, any cross-examination?
Yes, I wanted to see if you recognize this, Ms. Frazier.
The calendar,
The colors for Dilara, do you have a list of colors?
no, I do not.
Is that what?
That's a classroom teacher created, a communication.
So do you have any individual knowledge of what colors are good and what colors are bad?
No, I do not.
You don't know whether the blue and the greens are good?
No, I don't create. I let the teachers have full control over what they consider
Okay.
colors.
So you said it's been a roller coaster, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's been, in your words, I think, up and down with Dilara throughout.
Throughout.
So it didn't just fall off the deep end and then get extremely better after the rock incident, right?
It was very challenging after the rock incident, but we were able to wheel her back in.
And then it went back down.
And went back down.
And then it's gone down really bad in October and November, correct?
Are you saying her behavior got worse in October, November?
Right.
Yes.
Like really bad, as documented by classroom teachers.
She had
right?
multiple incidents.
Meltdown. She
Meltdown.
wasn't seeing her mother at all, or her mother hadn't come to your school.
Objection,
since
Your Honor,
fall,
compound
right?
question.
I'll sustain that was
Let me ask you
consent.
this, the mother didn't come to school since fall, right?
Since,
Or really August, right?
no, it was maybe fall break, October. I think the last one may have been right before fall break.
I believe would September 21st be a
Somewhere around, fall break was in October. The
restraining
first
order?
week, I think.
You're familiar with the restraining order?
Yes.
Okay, and it was obtained in August, served in September, no contact since then, right?
There were one, it was one after that, because you want me to expound on it,
No, what I want to know is in October and November, did she not have multiple bad days?
in October and November, she had few bad days, but nothing like the previous years. So I would say overall, 2017-18 has been a rather manageable year for her.
Well, now, would you agree with the statement that Dilara's behavior pretty much depends on how Dilara feels that day?
Absolutely.
So day to day, you just have no way to predict what she's going to do.
Not at all.
Outbursts seem to come out of nowhere.
Not really out of nowhere, only when she doesn't have control. If she doesn't have control, she has an outburst.
And losing control can come out of nowhere
Absolutely.
because she's classified as emotionally disturbed, right?
Yes, she is.
And I believe you said the rocks were on the pre-K and first grade playground.
Yes.
And what grade is Dilara in?
She's in third now.
Okay. Now, you said she misses her mother.
Yes.
She talks about that,
Yes.
correct? And I believe you said she's gotten a lot better since January.
She has.
And do you have any idea what's going on with her mother? What's changed since January?
I think it's a variety of things. Our approach we're using with her and her check-in and check-out with our teachers. The current teacher she has now, who's very understanding. And
But I mean, do you know whether or not contact with her mother started?
do I know the contact with the mother started? Yes, I do. I do know that.
And
that
Dilara's
started.
happy about that, right?
She is.
Okay.
Yes.
Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Mack?
Oh, let me ask, can I ask one last?
Go ahead.
Prior to the last day or two, have you had contact with the guardian ad litem?
No.
Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Mack?
Good morning, Ms. Frazier.
Good morning.
Just follow up on Ms. Cheatham's wonderful question that she just asked you last. Ms. Frazier, can you tell the court During the visitations where this guardian ad litem came to the school, isn't it true that Dilara actually assaulted you and Miss Getz in my presence?
She did.
Okay.
She did.
Did we get a time? I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't know when that happened.
Your Honor, if you could guide Ms. Cheatham to control.
Okay, objection to the relevance, since I don't know if that's a year or 2 or 3 ago.
All right, if you,
In the school, in the 2017-2018 school year, isn't it correct that Dilara has had her episodes with you and the counselors there at the school?
This year, 2017. Yes.
2017. Let's go into 2016. Let's go there. When this case actually started. Isn't it true that Dilara's behavior when this court process began, it didn't begin actually this fall, correct?
Correct.
It began last fall. And all of these petitions were from 2016, correct?
Correct.
Objection, Your Honor. Would this witness know about petitions?
Yes, she does. The petition, Your Honor.
I'll sustain, I'm not sure if that's relevant.
Ms. Frazier, are you familiar with finding out that Ms. Hubble had actually come to the school to have lunch in 2016 with Dilara?
Yes.
And isn't it true that from 2016 in August, you all became confused with what the orders were actually were for custody at that point in time, correct?
Correct.
And isn't it also true that in order to understand the custody order, you all had to reach out to your Metro Legal Department, correct?
Your Honor,
Correct.
I think the objection was sustained on relevance about these petitions and things. I mean, I just.
So I'll let her see where she's gonna reestablish that.
In your communications with this guardian ad litem as well as with the prior attorney on this case, you all were confused as to whether or not Ms. Hubble could actually come to the school and eat lunch with her child, correct?
Correct.
And on that day that she actually came to the school to eat lunch with her child, did anything major happen that day?
On that particular day, I cannot say because I was not aware that she was there eating lunch until after the fact.
Until after the fact. And when you became aware of Ms. Hubble being at the school in violation but you didn't know that at that time, right?
Correct.
So what were the steps that you took when you found out Ms. Hubble was at the school?
I contacted the father to see,
Okay.
let him know that mom was there and was this something that should have been happening. And then that is when we were told by you that shouldn't be happening. And then we sought advice from our legal to say what we see on paper and what we thought and what happened are not matching up.
Okay, so isn't it true that you were a little bit somewhat confused as to what the orders were, correct?
Correct.
Because you had seen prior to that lunch date that the mother and the father had been at the school to open house together,
Correct.
So you didn't see anything, they acted fine, didn't they?
Correct.
And Dilara was normal Dilara, correct?
Absolutely.
When she was with both of her parents?
Yes.
Did you happen to see the mom and the dad sit together or sit at the same table during that time?
I did not see that. I saw them walk in together and walk toward the classroom together.
Okay, and they weren't fighting, they
No.
weren't arguing,
No.
and they were focused on everything for Dilara, weren't they?
Yes.
So would it be safe to say that when, upon appearance, you thought the parents worked well together?
I did.
It wasn't until you learned that mother stepped into the school. And
Correct.
the father didn't know that, correct?
Correct.
And at that point, per se, everything broke loose.
We had to make some adjustments.
Had to make some adjustments. When you made those adjustments, isn't it true that at that time, Dilara did not have an IEP for behavior?
She did not.
She did not. But in fact, because she didn't have that IEP for behavior, she didn't have those extra special services that she receives now in 2017-2018 school year, correct?
Not all of them.
Not all of it.
Not all of them.
But isn't it also true that even though she did not have those extra special things that you provide through that IEP for behavior, that your school specializes in a therapeutic mindset in working with the child?
Correct.
So in fact, if Dilara was displaying violent or misbehaving in any way, it might not be reflected in her calendar for the classroom, would it?
No, because that was daily.
That was daily. What was daily?
Her outburst.
Okay, her daily outburst in August 2016-2017 school year, is it your testimony it was seriously daily?
It was daily.
Okay, isn't it also true that upon that, after we learned, and not what they told you, but Metro Legal, pretty much you understood at that point that the mother was not allowed to enter the school premises, correct?
Correct.
Because she could not have unsupervised contact with the child.
Correct.
Okay. So at that point, what did you implement at the school? For
Well,
the mother?
For the mother, we have a bell that she has to ring, and when she would come visit, I would walk out and talk to her outside and not allow her in the building.
Now, my colleague kind of focused on 2017, 2018, but this petition started in 2016. So I want to focus on, after you found out that the mother could not have unsupervised contact with the child, did she still try to come to the school?
Yes,
Okay. At the point in time where you learned that she can't come to the school, did you let her know, ma'am, you can't do this?
yes.
How does she respond to those things?
Combative,
Okay, what's combative?
argumentative, questioning why.
Why? And,
We have court order.
and then when you say that, what happens?
Just conversations.
Did
No,
she leave freely?
she did.
She did. After how long?
I don't know. We may have had a conversation, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and she left.
Ms. Frazier, in your communication, when she's argumentative or combative like that, who does she remind you of when she's like that?
Are you?
Is there any little child that she reminds you of that you work with?
Objection. You know, this is getting too far field.
Dilara?
Delara.
I'm sorry. What's your objection?
I don't know what.
I'm objecting to the relevance of her giving testimony about who she reminds, the mother reminds her of the child. It's not helpful, it's not relevant.
I'll overrule.
Delara.
Oh.
When you have your issues with Delara, does Delara become combative and argumentative?
Objection, we've all covered that.
Dilara is very opinionated, and she's very stubborn, and she has, when she thinks she's right, you can't reason with her.
You can't reason with her.
No.
So, would you say, how many times would you say after you had that interaction where mother was argumentative and combative, but she left after maybe 10 minutes, did you have to
She
come
said
back
5.
again? 5 to 10 minutes.
Yes,
She came back even after that.
yes.
How many times did she come back after that?
This is just the top of my head, maybe 3.
Okay. And when she comes back, those ringing of the bell, you said you developed a procedure. When she comes back, and this is of course before her current attorney is on the case, did any other attorney contact you and say, or try to get some clarity for what to do or how to help Miss Hubble understand what was going on outside of?
Object to the relevance.
What's the relevance?
The relevance is, did anyone from Miss Hubble try to reach out to understand whether or not anyone objected to whatever was going on, to advise you, to advise the school of Miss Hubble's not understanding or anything like that? That's the relevance you're on.
Did anyone advise
Oh,
them?
yeah.
Wait a minute, but there's an objection. It's,
I'm trying to see what she's trying to ask you why. So I'll let you know if you need to answer. And so you're trying to.
At the time, Your Honor, Ms. Regulate was actually the attorney for Ms. Hubble, and I'm asking her, did any attorney contact the school in regards to, just to make sure that they were clear that Ms. Hubble was following procedures there?
All right, I'll overrule. You can answer that question.
I believe the previous attorney spoke to my assistant principal several times about the case.
Okay, and, but they didn't speak to you?
No.
So- But what do you understand to have come out of that communication?
Your Honor, that's an end run around the hearsay rule. She has no direct knowledge. She just said
Right,
that.
I'll sustain that.
Thank you, Your Honor. 1 to 3 times, even after you sat down with her and talked with her. So, let's go into Dilara. I'd like to focus on Dilara. So Dilara, at that point in time, didn't have the IEP for behavior, correct?
Correct.
She just had the IEP for gifted.
Well, that was not an IEP, but she had the title.
The title of gifted.
Being gifted.
So isn't it also true that in that time frame, say same time, October, November 2016, isn't it true that the school actually tried to evaluate Dilara for her behavioral issues to see if she needed a VIP,
IEP for,
behavioral intervention plan? She was being evaluated at that point in time.
yes.
But isn't it also true that her behavior stabilized during that time in October and November 2016 to where they weren't able to evaluate or see the behaviors that they were seeing previously?
She had a brief moment, a good long stint where nothing showed up in her behavior.
So we go back into December and January 2016, January 2017. Did we begin to notice again that Dilara had some behavioral issues again coming up, correct?
She had a spike in her aggressive behavior.
Uh-huh. Did you by any chance communicate with Dilara or anyone as to what caused that spike in her behavior?
I did.
Who'd you talk to?
Dilara.
What did Dilara tell you?
Dilara was sad, angry, hated her life. She missed her mother. She loves her father, but she hates her life.
Isn't it true that Dilara blamed herself for the reason that she didn't get to see her mother?
I've never heard that out of Dilara, said she blamed herself. She didn't understand.
What she had done.
She had done.
What she had done
What
to cause-
she couldn't understand.
You can't just keep asking after she's already answered and didn't get the answer you want. It's just, it's
Yes, a
improper.
different question. I'll overrule. Go ahead.
Miss, isn't it true that in your office, while the guardian ad litem was present, Dilara screamed, "What did I do?
She did.
Why can't I see my mother? What did I do?"
She did.
In the process of her trying to run out of your office and kick you and kick Miss Getz, did she not say, "What did I do?"
She did.
And isn't it true that at this point in time, you yourself, Miss Getz and myself, explained to this baby, it's not what you did. The adults have something they need to do, correct?
Correct.
Isn't it also true that to help this baby stabilize with her emotions, not only yourself with the IEP and the setting that the school is in, but also the counselor there has had certain toys to stimulate Dilara to de-escalate her when she becomes in her aggressive demeanor?
We've tried that approach with her squeeze balls. We've purchased several squeeze balls, and her father purchased several squeeze balls.
Have they been working?
We no longer use those squeeze balls anymore.
Why don't you use them in?
We're trying another approach, and it seems her years maturity has helped, and she is gaining some control over her emotions and expressing those with words more than with fits and anger.
Controlling her emotions more and verbalizing.
Yes.
How recently has Dilara told you she wants to see her mother?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. What'd she tell you she wants from her mother?
She didn't tell me she wanted it. She said she misses her mother. She wants to see her mother, but life is so bad that why should she be living?
How And I'm sorry, Miss Frazier, you've been a principal for how long?
15 years.
You ever heard a kid talk to you like that?
Yes.
When they're what?
Angry and confused.
Isn't it true that even you have tried to console Dilara
Absolutely.
when she's having those, because you actually understand it? You actually have a space in your office for kids like Dilara, don't you?
Absolutely.
To help them calm down. It's that calming space, right?
Still there.
Still there. It's not just for Dilara, is it?
No, Dilara has not used that space this semester. She did a couple of times last semester, but she has not used that space as a calming down.
Has Dilara assaulted anybody since January 2018?
Oh, so, no.
No. And in fact, even when she had broke the teacher's foot in 2016 and all of those things that had happened, law enforcement never was involved, were they?
No.
Why was that?
Well,
Say it.
I do not believe that the law enforcement should be a part of elementary age at this time. So that's not my approach at Gower. It's more about digging deep and social emotional part.
Can you
And
spread
understand.
that to the rest of the principals, please?
Oh, yeah. No. It's
Can you
about
please tell the rest of
trying to figure out what they need more than punishing them.
Yes, ma'am. And because of your specialized expertise of 15 years as a principal and working in this kind of setting, do you believe, just upon information and belief and working with your student, that it would help her so much if she could have both parents in her life on a regular basis?
Absolutely.
And in fact, that's what the Lord wants, isn't it?
That is what she wants.
And in your understanding of everything, would it help if the parents could work together?
Absolutely.
Okay. What about the IEP now? Were the mother and the father involved in all of that, or were you a part of that?
The mother was not a part of it in the room. Father attended the meetings because they were on school grounds, and mother is not allowed in our property at this time. And no, I did not sit on the IEP meeting at that time. No.
What can be done to alleviate this restriction from the mother coming to the school?
Objection, Your Honor. I think that's a court situation, and
That's not the question that I asked her.
I'll overrule. I think she can answer that.
What
If she can,
could-
she may not.
Okay.
What could the mother do in order for that restriction to be lifted?
What could Ms. Hubble do? As a professional, I would say follow whatever the court has put in place for that to happen.
What about what the school has in place?
The school has nothing in place for Ms. Hubble when she is given, allowed by the courts that she can enter our building and act appropriately. We have no problem.
Don't the kiddos have to act appropriately when they're there?
Absolutely.
Okay. And let me talk to you something about why Dilara hasn't been expelled for some of the conduct that she's had.
I don't believe in suspension as the first, the second, or the third punishment, or I believe it is my job to figure out how to help Dilara before I suspend her. And she has been suspended before, but it takes off.
So when the mother is asking you to suspend her and send her home to keep other kids safe, what was your response to that?
We don't do that.
We don't do that.
We don't do that here.
So how do you keep the other kids safe?
We teach them how to cope and how to react.
You teach the other kids how to cope and how to react.
Yes.
So the same attention that Dilara gets at your school, the other students get as well.
Yes. And at that time, when Mom asked about suspension, she was not under IEP,
Right.
so she could have been suspended for umpteen days with no problem.
And I just want to highlight this. So So in essence, it's not that Dilara hasn't done suspendable and expellable things.
Oh, absolutely, every day.
It's just because of your policy and the procedures that you follow there at that school to help this child.
And can I answer that honestly?
Yes, ma'am.
I would say if Dilara was at any other school, she would have been suspended or expelled to a behavior school long time ago.
And here's gonna, this is gonna be the last thing I'm gonna say. You can't even say if it's Mr. Gadere's fault that Dilara is the way she is, or it's her mother's fault that she's the way she is, can you?
No,
Dilara's the same kid every day, isn't she? And when she's upset about something, it doesn't even have to be about not seeing her mother, does it?
it's multiple things.
It can be anything
Yes,
that will escalate her behavior, correct?
correct.
No further questions.
All right, Mr. Frakes, anything else?
No redirect, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Cheatham, anything else?
No.
All right, Ms. Frazier, that wasn't that bad, was it?
And I
That's
just,
your run.
I was saying, you can more than welcome to stay, Ms. Frazier, if you like.
Miss Ballard is here, and I think she was asked by the guardian ad litem and
But let me
me.
get Ms. Frazier out.
Okay.
Let me finish my business first,
All
and then
right.
I'll let you.
Oh, I
ask the
thought she was
question after
already
that.
dismissed.
All right, Ms. Frazier, thank you again, and I'm gonna ask Dr. Majors and Dr. Joseph if you can be on the passage committee so you can teach these other folks at the other schools your philosophy and what needs to be done.
And I would say that it's nothing you can teach.
Well, then,
It's got to be something you believe.
Is there any way possible that we can clone you?
No. This is year 32. I'm out.
Oh, you can't leave.
Thank you for coming out.
Do you need this?
Yeah, that's good.
All righty. Your next witness would have
All
been?
closes this proof, Your Honor.
You close your proof, okay.
Then we can,
All right, and call your first witness, Ms. Cheatham.
is Miss Ballard here for the guardian ad litem or for me?
I have no
Did
idea.
you ask her?
I didn't spend.
I didn't speak it. Well, we did speak it, but.
This way, I guess. Would you raise your right hand, please? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, there you go.
Yes, sir.
Could you go ahead and state your, just a minute. Miss Ballard, could you go ahead and state your name for the record?
Latara Ballard. Latara,
And how do you spell Latara?
Latarra.
Thank you. And who do you work for?
Progressive Families.
And do you know this lady?
Ms. Hubble.
Yes. And, a little girl named, Latara, I'm sorry.
Dilara.
I've done that since yesterday, I was trying to get ready to call her Latara and you, Dilara. A little girl named Dilara.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell the court how you know them.
I'm doing supervised visitation between the mother, Mrs. Hubble, and her daughter, Dilara.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
I have to look back at my notes, but it's been like maybe 2 months, 3 months.
You can refer to it.
Okay. Since December 11th.
December the 11th.
Mhm.
Thank you. And tell the court how that started. What was the child's initial reaction to seeing her mother?
She didn't miss a beat. She was pleased to see her mother. Dilara has a very different type of personality, but she was pleased to see her mother.
Okay, excited.
Yes.
Okay. And what did they do during the first visit?
First visit, Mrs. Hubble brought tons of items, educational things, and she had a ukulele and had some shakers and things of that nature. So we met at the Green Hills Public Library. They went through some of the educational things. Dilara was resistant to doing the educational type of stuff. And then they played Mrs. Hubble played the ukulele, and Dilara used a shaker.
And over time, have you seen that pop up, that resistance to what somebody's asking her to do?
That is part of her personality.
And so, go ahead and tell about just kind of what they did the next visit. Tell us the date.
The next one, December 18th, was pretty much the same thing. We met at the Green Hills Library. Mother talked about grooming with her daughter. There was some confusion. I don't know if you want me to bring. Okay, so with some confusion after the visit, I walked Dilara back to her father. Dilara has the tendency to make negative comments about her mother to her dad. And then to the dad, she makes negative comments about her mother. So the mother had suggested things that she could do because we were coming up on the Christmas break and things she could do during the Christmas break and things of that nature. And Dilara went back and immediately came back with, she's trying to make me do this. And Dad was like, I was like, no, she came up with a list. Dilara had told the dad that the mom had said her hair was gross. And the mom did say, oh, it's gross, but I can tell it's clean. It wasn't said in a derogatory way. She said, I can tell your hair is clean, but every little thing, Dilara turned it negative. I mean, and that's just in my presence, unsolicited. But then in front of her mom, she makes negative comments about Dad. And that's just part of her personality at this point.
And go ahead and tell the court about that next visit. What date did you say?
It was December 18th. I'm not sure if this was the incident with the bracelets or not. I can't remember. Let me try to scroll through here. This was the one about the computer. Both parents had the same conclusion on how to repair the computer, this iPad.
Okay.
Both parents were ready to repair it. Dilara was oppositional towards both. Mom talked to her about how to treat her bad breath, because the little girl said something about someone said she had bad breath, and Mom went through that whole routine with her.
Can I ask you one of your observations overall? Did she appear to be well-groomed, or did that need a little work?
Well, I can tell that she has nice clothing. We are meeting after school hours. And if you ever see Dilara move, Dilara is a busy person. And she moves around a lot and she walks around a lot.
Right.
So I can see her being ruffled by the end of the school day because she's still moving when I see her. And so
teeth and breath. At that point, she's had lunch, probably had a snack, so I can tell that she has on fresh clothing, that she looks different. There's always a jacket, sometimes two jackets. She has her needs met. But by the time mom sees her, she is ruffled. There was some issues of how to comb her hair, and mom had actually went through and tried to comb her hair, brush her hair for her. Dilara is pulling her head, telling her head hurts. I was watching mom brush her hair. Mom was gentle with her head, but she was trying to teach her how to properly brush her hair out. Talk to her about styling products and how to use the styling products. And Dilara was not always receptive to her mother's teaching.
Was it an attempt to be helpful? Was it overall an attempt to be helpful?
Yes. She was, I felt like she was doing she was in the role of a mother.
Okay. So overall, she was appropriate
Yes, ma'am.
throughout the visits?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, go ahead and talk a little bit about the next one.
The next one,
And tell us kind of what they did, what kind of activities.
All right,
how they
so,
interacted, that kind of stuff.
each activity, if the mother brought music, wherever she brought, I made sure dad knew about it so he could know. Mom was even brought the sheet music, and that's how I could document what the name of the songs were, because the sheet music was there. So I was able to even give a copy to the dad. The third visit was on the 21st, and Mr. Jadair, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, he had saw the mom with some bracelets on, I guess, Facebook, whatever, and he was concerned about the bracelets being damaging. I actually, this might have been the picture of social media that said Free Dilara. I actually informed I asked her to remove the bracelets, and I looked at the bracelet, and it read Team Dilara. Mom immediately took the bracelet off. She was a little baffled, but she gave me, no issue. She took the bracelet immediately off. There was another visit, I'm not sure if it was the following one. That visit, we went outside, they talked about girly stuff again, blackheads, how to get rid of acne, things of that nature. We were actually in one room and we had to be removed to another room, but that is the visit that Dilara got upset on the 21st. She got upset. And what she did when she got upset was she actually went under the table and was not going to come out. So Dilara does not like to be challenged at all. Mom had brought some little wooden airplanes, got her engaged again. She just moved on. Dilara actually made the statement, "You just don't want to make me mad." So it was challenging.
Were you all able to work through it?
We were able to work through it, yes, but I was shocked by her behavior. There was an incident that, and I'm not sure if it was at this visit or the one before that. I am so sorry, guys. The one before that, on the 18th, Mrs. Hubble had talked to her about the Turkish language skills and all of that. There's one thing there was one of the visits, the child actually said that the dad had made a derogatory comment about the mom, and when I actually confronted him about that, he said he did not make that comment. He was adamant he was not. At the time, I was not sure, but now that I'm getting to know the little girl, he probably didn't make that comment, because I have had to reassure Mr. Jadair that the little girl enjoys her visits with her mom, and reassure him that everything is okay. But if you're just hearing what the child says, you wouldn't know.
Did she play them, what we say, both ends against?
Oh,
each other?
yes, ma'am.
And Mrs. Hubble, it was the next visit, she actually had some bracelets that said, and that was on the 27th. She did wear bracelets that had positive affirmations with which self-control, trust, and obey. And she let Dilara take the bracelets home after the visit. They did snowflakes together, the whole 9 yards. This was a visit that we did at the Green Hills Mall, and we're confined. We're right in front of the Macy's and the Panera, and I only want to be in that area. Dilara wants to walk the mall, but I asked her, if you don't get what you want, are you going to get upset? And she told me, yeah. So I said, no, we're not going to do that, because I would like her mother to have positive visits and for them to have that one-on-one interaction. I do have to say, Mrs. Hubble, it was at times that Dilara would kind of try to whisper to her mom, and Mrs. Hubble would say, I need you to speak up. Or Mrs. Hubble wouldn't say anything, and she would get up and sit between me and Dilara. So Dilara was forced to face me, and I could hear what Dilara was saying. The questions that upset Dilara are questions of, I wouldn't say religion, but of God and why does he do certain things, that type of stuff kind of gets under her skin. So, and those are the questions that she has, questions of the universe. So, go figure.
Who has Dilara?
Yes.
Okay. Is she smart yet?
I think she's smart, but she has to work on those social skills. You can be smart all day, but if you don't have social skills, no.
Is Miss Hubble, I mean, I get that she's a challenging kid. I don't know that anybody's disputed that, but is she able to manage her
I think she's able to manage her as best as she can.
in an unnatural environment?
Yes.
Because supervised visits for parents or something.
It should be short term. Most of the time it's short term, yeah. But as well as anyone can manage Dilara.
Okay.
Dilara is very strong-willed when she does not get her way. You know, but like I have said, in the end, I think she's going to be her own champion.
And tell us what you mean by that.
As far as if they are granted the unsupervised visits, I think that she would voice if something was wrong or if there were concerns. She would be her own champion. And there is no fear of either parent. So she would tell either parent whatever is on her mind.
And go ahead and tell a little bit more about some of the other visits. Which was the next one after?
We had the 27th was the bracelets on the January 2nd. Again, was the library. No, I'm sorry, the mall. They always hugged and greeted each other. They read a book called Bad Kitty. It was the thing, that was the visit that Dilara told her about some video games, and Mrs. Hubble had to tell her how she always admired that she knew right from wrong and being mindful of not watching inappropriate things. And again, it was one of those things to try to get under mom's skin. She says a lot of things to get a reaction. Let's see. Again, she made threw away. She said her dad had threw away the schedule, so she couldn't do her work during the break. Dilara had no intentions doing anything during the break. She didn't want to do what her mother had asked her to do. The mom had said, you should be doing well in school. Mom was always checking with school, and she said, your needs are being met, so you should be doing better in school. Dilara one day said she had one particular level, mom would kind of challenge her. Like, are you sure you had that level? Because this, and this happened. So it was kind of good that Miss Hubble kind of knew what was going on so that she could challenge her and kind of keep some truth going.
And who did it seem like had the accurate version of what was going on with Dilara?
Mom.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. She did the flashcards with her. It was a situation of
the mom had most of the time the mom was very positive towards the dad, which I was waiting for something to fall out, but mom was always piggybacked on whatever stipulations he had already had in place. Dilara had made a comment about not finishing a task, and Mrs. Hubble was a little disappointed. She said, oh, so I guess she actually said, your dad can do what he wants when she is with him, and I can only do what I can get away with. It was sarcastic, but I think she was frustrated at that point because she was trying to structure the child's time. The parents have different parenting styles, and that's noted right off the bat. And I can't say one is good and one is bad. They have just two completely different parenting styles. They both love her. Mom is more focused on academics. Dad is a little bit more nurturing and fun. Not to say that Mrs. Hubble isn't nurturing also, but her focus is more academics. She needs both of that in her life.
Is that your experience over, how long have you been doing this? Not just the supervisor,
Okay.
working with kids.
Working with kids and all, 15 years.
Okay. And is it your experience that, given anything like outrageous or, like meth or crack use or anything like that, but in typical or close to typical type situations that children need both parents?
Yes.
Unless there's something.
Even when sometimes you can have an off-centered parent, but that's still that child's parent. They have to work through it. And sometimes it's good for a mirror to be held up. Sometimes children make us change and make us better people.
Okay. So what other kinds of things did they do in the visits overall?
Visits, most of it was, again,
I'm sorry, let me ask one question. Did you see any times that it wasn't overall positive? I mean, the big picture. did
the
they
big
enjoy each
picture,
other
this is
positively?
my take, the big picture. Mom was very positive. There were times that she was shocked. There were and Dilara worked to make sure that she would shock her somehow. Dilara's behavior was not always appropriate, but Mom responded correctly.
Did she demonstrate good parenting skills?
Yes.
So what other kinds of activities did they do?
Most of it has all centered around music. There was one visit she didn't bring music, but she had books. They've done snowflakes, arts, different artsy projects together. There was an article she had brought about harmony and let Dilara take that home. She was trying to get Dilara to read the article. Dilara refused to read it. I read through the article. Actually sent the article home. But everything was educational based and really, and most of the visits were musically centered.
And overall, you mentioned a couple of specifics, but overall, did Ms. Hubble respond appropriately to the
Yes.
Dilara did and said?
Yes.
And
Some things were shocking. Again, I would have to intervene and say we're going to enjoy our visit.
But other than that, did she reinforce the positive and
Yes.
respond appropriately to the negative?
Yes.
Okay. And do you feel like at this point there's a need for a third party to be intervening?
Yes.
Well, and I'm talking about like in the day-to-day as a supervisor.
No, not in the role of supervised visitation, but in the role of case management. I think that's what the family should move towards.
And you've got some specific things that you feel like needs to happen. And you, I think, are saying that, timeline-wise, do you feel like there is any need at this point to continue with supervision of visits?
I would like them to have youth villages or another agency in place, and then I think that they can proceed, just set up and start doing some unsupervised time.
And can youth villages be pretty much implemented immediately?
My understanding it can. I reached out, and it's not, Youth Villages is a huge agency. It's their
Right.
Intercept program. And the reason why, I can see Dilara making statements against both parents, and I have two parents that love their daughter, and they want to protect their daughter. And they're going to do whatever it takes to protect her, which means they're going to act. If she makes an allegation against dad or makes an allegation against mom, I can see parents acting immediately on that. I wish that they could do mediation. I'm not sure if they're at that point to do mediation where they could have some ground rules and you wouldn't need a third party, but that is to be able to protect themselves, because the Youth Villages Intercept can meet them at the different parents' homes, at the child's school. They actually see the child in all the different environments. So if they have a baseline of the child's personality and behaviors, that way you have that third party to say, you know what, I don't think this happened, or let me give you all the other details. Because a lot of times Dilara would make a statement like, I don't really want to do the visit, it's not fun. Well, she was enjoying herself on that visit. My mom's trying to make me do all this stuff. Well, she made a list and you didn't protest when she was making this list for you. To have that third party to go back and talk to Dilara and have some fact finding going on before parents are, because anything could come up, and I'll have parents being arrested over a little girl just being kind of messy at a time, just felt like being messy for a second, so.
Well, let me ask you this, say, the Intercept program, if, the court doesn't order it, or if it orders it and it's in there right away, is it short-term?
It is and it's not. Their goal is to find other community resources, and they actually offer counseling. So it'll be counseling to Dilara. Parents won't be counseled, but they'll just give the parents feedback of what's going on and be that third person.
Both parents?
It would include both parents, both parents. And I hope that will put them on a path towards mediation.
And if that Intercept was set up tomorrow, if it was very quick to get whatever needs to be done, do you see any reason why this mother, as long as this supervision has drug on, could not go to unsupervised immediately?
Correct.
You understand it's been months,
Yes.
months and months and months.
Well, if Intercept was in place tomorrow, which is a Saturday, I don't see why she couldn't have unsupervised time next week.
So you think that's ready to be?
The way I feel, if something's going to go wrong, let's figure it out fast.
And overall, is there anything that Ms. Hubble did in front of, or to, or around, call the Dilara, that endangered her safety in any way?
Not her safety, no.
Anything Dad did that
No. I found him to be very appropriate.
Okay. All right, so, you think they need some ground rules?
I think that they need ground rules, and I think they need to move towards case management.
But now, so.
I would like to do it soon. I think it'll be fair to Dilara to give that to her. And if there's a problem, at least we can say we tried for Dilara.
Okay. And you feel like Dilara needs both parents in an action
Object to the
setting?
leading, Your Honor.
I'll sustain.
What do you feel like Dilara needs, like right now?
Right now, I think she needs both of her parents in her life. I think she needs her mom and her dad in her life. I think I have two parents that love her.
All right, nothing further.
All right, Mr. Fritz?
For sure.
Oh, can I do
ask one more real quick? It's real quick and it'll probably help him.
All right, go ahead.
Have you been in touch with the child's therapist throughout this, or,
A little bit,
Some.
yes, uh-huh. Letting her know some of the problem areas that I've come across.
okay, all right, thank you.
All right.
Ms. Ballard, how long have you been supervising the mother's visitation?
Since December 11th.
At any time during that period, those months, did you have to address the mother for inappropriate communications with the child?
No, not during the visits, no.
At no time in any of your reports, you state that you told the mother anything about discussing inappropriate material?
No, I would say I would intervene and redirect.
Okay. And you said that youth villages will provide services in both parents' homes?
Yes, and school.
Has the minor child made a desire, stated a desire to visit at the mother's home?
Yes, she has.
When did that occur?
I have to go back on the date. If I can tell you what she said 2 days a week at her mom's house is what she wanted.
Did you address that with the mother?
It was actually Mr. Jadair had said that if we could do a visit at the mom's home, he was okay with it. And I had reached out and asked mom, and mom did not want to visit at her home.
What did you ask the mom?
Did she want, I needed her address so I could consider to do a supervised visitation at her home. Because for me, the address would determine if I could get there in a timely manner. And so mom responded that she did not want a supervised visitation in her home.
Did she tell you why she did not want to supervise visitation?
She just felt like it was unnatural.
Did you not, your personal opinion, do you not believe it would be better setting for the child to have visitation in the mother's home?
I think so, if I could have got there, depending on where the address was. But if the address is in a place I could get to, I personally think visits are better in the home.
Did you relay that information at all to the mother?
Yes.
And her response was?
She just went on about it wasn't natural. Her daughter was not going to be she sent me a text. Her daughter was not going to be a visitor in her home.
Did you question that response by the mother at all? Did you think there were any ulterior motives?
I just figured that she's being herself. She's, I mean, she is kind of set in her ways.
Well, what would happen if youth services is denied access to the mother's home as well?
I would feel that we are losing a huge opportunity to service Dilara.
What duration of time are you suggesting for unsupervised visitation at this point? Taking into consideration the mother would not allow you to access her house for the supervised visit.
Well, I did 2-hour visits, and I can say within 2-hour time frame, she was appropriate. So the court could build from there, or they could start there.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Ms. Mack, I've got to be downstairs for just a second in 3 minutes. How long is your class going to be?
Go downstairs.
It's going to be a minute?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take about a 10-minute recess.
I ain't sitting close in recess.
Your Honor, may I have permission to step down to the clerk's office?
Absolutely, absolutely. Y'all do what y'all gotta do.